Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Hybrid Now. Out here cruising around once again. Seems like I'm always cruising around in this awesome Prius. And I thought I'd get on here and talk about my experience so far. I've got almost 500 miles on the car now, so that seems like a good milestone to let you guys know how things are going. First of all, let me say right off the bat, love the car. This is probably one of the top, I'll say 3 cars, maybe number 1, I don't know, that I've ever had. It's just awesome. From its performance, I know, it's a Prius, right? Why are you talking about performance? Well, when I say performance, I'm kind of talking more about fuel economy, the way it drives, its comfort level, its responsiveness, and yes, acceleration. You have to talk about acceleration now with the Toyota Prius. If for no other reason than it was such a dog before. I mean, 0 to 60 in 3.5 days, whatever it was, 13 seconds I think it was. This one, and it is the all-wheel drive limited version, is 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. Love it. It's not a drag racing car for sure, but it's no dog either. Love the car. I think it's awesome. Toyota hit a home run with this car. They're probably going to win all kinds of awards. Maybe they have already. I don't know. But it is just that good. We're going to see from a long-term ownership standpoint, you know, how it does, whether there's any quality issues, how it holds up, its reliability, all of that kind of stuff. But so far, 500 miles, it is awesome. If there's any ding I have against this car, and it's so minor, it's really not even worth mentioning, but I will. It's probably visibility a little bit, and I'm only talking a minor thing. It's a little more confining in here. Not horrible. You're not going to feel claustrophobic in here. But when you go to look out the back, you do have the pillars back there that kind of block your visibility a little bit. Honestly, you're going to get that in any vehicle anyway. I mean, unless you're driving an open air Jeep or something, you're going to have, or a convertible with no pillars, you're going to have some kind of visibility blockage. That's really it. You know, some of these reviewers had talked about you can't see the gauge cluster over the steering wheel. I think they were just looking for things to dog the car about, because I don't notice that myself. Does it protrude up into the gauge cluster area? Absolutely, it does. Do I wish that the gauge cluster was off to the right like it was in the previous Prius? Absolutely not. I think the gauge setup that they have, the cluster area, is awesome. It is perfect. And I know, I use that word a lot, awesome, because it really does capture the aura of this new Toyota Prius. From a driving standpoint, man, it is just so smooth. Traveling down the road, especially when it's in EV mode, it just feels like you're gliding. And I think that's just kind of a trait of EVs anyway. I mean, when you're not running the engine and you don't have that little vibration and sound from the engine itself, it does feel kind of like you're just gliding along. And we get that in this car when we're running EV mode. Noise, I'm going to have to mention that. It is louder in the cockpit in the new Prius. Is it annoying? Is it something to be concerned about? Absolutely not. I mean, let's face it, when you're rolling down the road and you're contacting it with tires, rubber, you're going to have sound. And that's what we get in this car. It's really no worse, I don't think, than any other small car in its class. Before I had this, I drove a Honda Civic, and there was a ton of road noise in that car. It's just the way that it is, I think, when you're in a smaller, maybe less insulated car for fuel economy reasons. Obviously, you want to keep the weight down, so there are some trade-offs that you make. Definitely not annoying. You guys can hear it in the camera, and let me tell you, the microphone from the camera really doesn't do it justice. If anything, it accentuates the noise and picks it up a little more than it really is. Maybe it's the location of the camera for me in the car, I don't know. Not a big deal. Comfort-wise, they did a great job inside as well. With the seating, I don't notice any issues with it. I wouldn't have a problem taking this car on a long distance trip where I had to spend hours and hours sitting in the seats. They're very soft, very supple, very comfortable. I do have the leather or faux leather in this car, in this trim. They really did a fantastic job with that as well. The only gripe I have, and I think I mentioned this in a previous video, sometimes when I'm not filming, I like to drive around with the windows open, and I'll have my arm up here on the side like this, and you can see from the angle, that's not the most comfortable in the world. Probably more so due to your body type. I mean, obviously, the taller you are or the longer you are from the waist up is going to change this angle. But for me and for the seating position I prefer to drive in, kind of gives me a sharp angle when I'm resting my arm on the windowsill. Kind of torques the shoulder a little bit. Again, not a big deal. I'm grasping at straws to find things wrong with this vehicle. It's just picky, I suppose. Fuel economy, we do have to mention that. I made a video the other day addressing that. I've seen comments on the web about the Prius not getting what it's rated at as far as fuel economy goes. This one is rated at 49 and 50, 49 combined. It's not really a big deal to me. I honestly, because this car is so awesome, I would buy it even if it wasn't supposed to get really awesome fuel economy. I'm getting 43.1 right now. It's not 49, it's not 50. I do think it's going to improve over time. We shall see. I don't know. But like I said, the car is just so awesome. I would buy it even if it wasn't an EV. If it was just a naturally aspirated, even 4-cylinder turbo, I would pick it up anyway because I think it's just that awesome. There's that word again, awesome. So anyway, that is my little update, I guess. First 500 miles in the Toyota Prius. I highly recommend it. The only issue is trying to find one. They are so popular right now, and Toyota's producing, I think, such a limited supply of them for various reasons that it's kind of tough to put your hands on one, but it's definitely worth the wait. The way I got this one was to grab one that was already on allocation and coming in. Had to wait about 3 weeks or so to pick this one up. That's really not too bad, and I think depending upon the city or the area that you live in, if you're in a bigger city, you probably would be able to get one quicker because there'd be more supply in an area like that. I say go for it, pick one up. You are going to be very happy that you did. Leave a comment if you've got a Toyota Prius, the new one. Let me know what you think of it. And if you've come across anything that you really don't like, I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.